we on the streets in the war zones. Pushing this truth until we get called home. I got brothers I could fall on. Any situation, brothers I could call on. All we gotta do is log on. Send a chain message, seeing if the God's home. Our brother need help now. No matter what it is, we deny self now. Nobody getting let down. For the most high, we gotta put our best down. Man, I love this brotherhood. On the road again, hitting up another hood. Up north, down south, Midwest, it don't matter, we gon' bring it out. Scriptures keep ringing out. We gon' speak it, we gon' rap it, even sing it out. Camp shirts blinging out. We gon' shine with these laws, what you be about?
All right. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless everybody. Welcome to today's class. I am Brother Raphael. To my right,
Brother Rahanan.
And to my left,
Brother Jacob.
Today's topic is called Beware Lest Any Man Spoil You. One thing y'all have to understand, the term spoil in this context, y'all, is to destroy. And the thing you have to understand, what our people, who are we are the biblical Israelites, just happens to be, you so-called blacks and you so-called Hispanics, whose fathers are of Negroid and any descent, we are the biblical Israelites, it's a warning. It says, beware lest any man spoil you. And one thing y'all have to understand, brothers and sisters, the one way we're destroyed is because, number one, we don't know who we are. Okay? When you think about it, not knowing who you are is something that's a real major issue what's going on with our people. There's an echo.
I don't think they're hearing me. I think it's a picture
on. Oh, it's on us? Okay. And the thing y'all have to understand is when we talk about our people, how we have been, fooled into believing that we're a different nation, that's another problem as well. Okay? But anyway, as customary, you just can't say you have Christ and no laws, and you just can't say you have laws and no Christ. They have to be coupled together, okay? Because understand something, y'all. It says to the law and to the testimony. So let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20, and let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20.
Go ahead.
To the law. And to the testimony.
Now, the Bible says to the law, right? For some of y'all who may not know, the Bible is compacted with laws. Okay? You have laws from Genesis all the way to Revelation. Okay? It says to the law. Go ahead. And the testimony. Go ahead. It says, read it again.
To the law and to the testimony.
And the testimony. So let's find out what is the precept according to the scriptures. What is the testimony? Okay. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 10. Okay. And then we're going to go to Proverbs 6 and 23.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
And I fell at his feet to worship him.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, see thou do it not.
Go ahead.
I am thy fellow servant.
Because that's what we are, brothers and sisters. We are fellow servants of the Most High. That's how we're supposed to present ourselves. We're supposed to serve our nation and serve the Lord. Okay, go ahead.
And of thy brethren.
And of thy brethren. Go ahead.
That have the testimony of Jesus.
The testimony of Christ, the Messiah, the King of Kings. Some people may say Yahweh Shai is just a title. Okay, so it says the testimony of who again?
The testimony of Jesus.
Go ahead.
Worship God.
Worship the Most High. We call him the Most High because there's no other power above him. That's why we call him the Most High. Okay, go ahead, brother.
For the testimony of Jesus.
The testimony of Christ, the Messiah. Go ahead.
Is the spirit of prophecy.
Is the spirit of prophecy, because I'm going to let you know something. If you don't have the spirit of Christ on you, brothers and sisters, you will not understand the Bible in its entirety. You will be lost. Okay, you will just be reading scriptures and won't have no understanding at all. That's why precept must be upon precept to gain understanding. That's how we jump from book to book. Go back to Isaiah 8 and 20 and give me Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 20.
Go ahead.
To the law
Uh-huh.
and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word.
If they don't speak, thus saith the Lord, as it is written. As it is written. Go ahead, brother.
It is because
Uh-huh.
there is no light in them.
There is no light in them. So let's find out what the light is according to the Holy Bible. Because Christ says in Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine. Okay? So, some of y'all may used to sing that song. Okay? This little light of mine. But let's find out what the Bible said. The definition of what is the light according to the Bible. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23, brother.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
For the commandment is a
The
lamp,
commandment is a lamp. Go ahead.
and the law is light.
Now, the law in Christ is light, because understand something, y'all. Darkness is sin. So the laws in Christ help you to navigate through sin. And it also helps to correct you as a person who's in the midst of sin, which is transgression of the law. So what happens, the example would be, I'm a person that loves to steal, the 5-finger discount. Or I'm a person who can't stop lying to save my life. So what we do is we take the laws and filter them through Christ, okay, and say, okay, Christ wasn't a thief. Christ wasn't a liar. So what it does, it corrects you. Go ahead, brother.
And reproofs of instruction
Uh-huh.
are the way of life.
Now, reproofs of instructions are the way of life, because reproof is correction. Like I just gave you the example of a person that's in the midst of sin, which is transgression of the law. We filter the laws through Christ to have a higher understanding, because Christ took the laws to a high level. That's why people don't understand Christ is the law. So he would never, so you got to beware lest any man spoil you. Matter of fact, give me that. Give me the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 6, because we made a statement. We said, beware lest any man spoil you. Okay? Because you're being destroyed, because, matter of fact, before you give me that, go to Deuteronomy. Because something just came to me. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46 for a second. We have to show y'all something, because remember something, this is deep. Okay? This is a curse. Because our people been destroyed and spoiled of a more, right? So where does it come from? The curses that identify who we are is the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46. And I want you to read down first and then go to Colossians 2.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46.
Go ahead.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
So what does a sign do? It signifies. These curses identify who are the true biblical Israelites, okay? So with all these curses that we are still under today, they identify who we are, right? Go ahead, brother.
And upon thy seed forever.
Go ahead.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
That's why we under the conditions that we're under today, because we didn't serve the Lord. The same way today, that's the main reason why we've still been shot down the streets. Our communities are in shambles. That's why these things are still happening to us, because we are still disobedient to the Most High God. Go ahead.
With joyfulness and with gladness of heart.
Go ahead.
For the abundance of all things.
For the abundance of all things, because guess what? If we kept the commandments, we wouldn't be begging for jobs. We wouldn't be begging for equality. We wouldn't be begging for all these things that we're supposed to have anyway. We're supposed to be in rulership. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
And we're serving them today. We're paying tribute such as taxes. We're like I said, we're dealing with what we need. We want equality. We want housing. We want all these different things, but we can't have them because why? We're not in rulership. Go ahead.
Which the Lord shall send against
the
thee.
Lord sent these people against us, primarily the so-called white man today. Okay, he's in rulership right now. Go ahead.
And in hunger. And in thirst.
Now, in hunger and thirst, we have to go to him for food, because we don't own any restaurant chains. We don't have any textile mills. We don't have any of these different things. We don't have to. We don't control the water supply. Go ahead.
And in nakedness. And in want of all things.
Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Okay, now that's what I wanted. Now the yoke of iron upon our neck. When the iron came off of our necks, the chains was on our mind. Because now what's happening, they have did what? They have indoctrinated us with different philosophies of men. such as Christianity, such as being a Pan-African, such as being in politics. All these different things we're being indoctrinated with today. That's the yoke of iron right there. Just happens to be one of the curses of our people. Okay, you can see it right there. It shows you that's a prophecy. Okay, that prophecy fits us. Okay, our forefathers and foreparents, they actually had yokes of iron upon thy neck. So when the yokes of iron came off, what happened? Christianity came in. They indoctrinated us with Christianity, with Pan-Africanism. We're still going through that right now. Okay? We're still going through that. Give me the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8, verse 8.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
Beware, lest any man spoil you.
The Bible says, beware, lest any man spoil you. Go ahead.
Through philosophy.
Now, philosophies is what? It's man-made doctrines that we have today. We're going to prove some points on who's behind all this, and we're going to show some images on what they've done, how they took our images out of our holy records, and they whitewashed all of it. We're going to show you actual biblical prophecy, okay, on different things and what they've done to our people, and they're still doing to our people today. Go ahead, brother. What does it say?
Beware lest any man spoil you.
Go ahead.
Through philosophy
Go
and
ahead.
vain deceit.
And vain deceit. So you're being deceived into believing that you're African. You're being deceived into believing that you're a part of the political landscape. A lot of y'all going to vote. I mean, we know what's really sad. Right, they're already starting voting. Matter of fact, they got our people, such as they using Ice Cube. Because Ice Cube, which he really shocked me, but let's just keep it real. When you're being spoiled through philosophy and vain deceit, you think that this political landscape is for you. Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened. Ice Cube was on record with Roland Martin. They had an interview, and he was talking about the different political parties on what benefits our people the most, and who benefits our people the most. So what happened was him and Roland Martin had a you could call it discussion. I don't really want to call it debate because they were just discussing some different things. And my whole mentality behind that was, here we got two men. Give me Lamentations 4 and 17 for a second. And hold that Colossians. And what was happening, here we are, so-called black people and Hispanic people, we're fighting to have two demons decide our faith. Who the hell is Biden? He's a demon. Because this is what y'all have to understand, brothers and sisters. You're right, right. Here's the sad part, y'all. And you need to pay attention to this. No matter who you vote for, they're going to uphold white supremacy. You want to know why? Because white supremacy ensures that it's white domination, because their ideology is still the same. Because even when Obama was president, he still upheld this government, didn't he? So everything that this government represents, it still supports white supremacy. So you can sit there and vote all you want. That's why it blew my mind when I saw Ice Cube. I said, wow, got him up there, and they pushing up people to vote. They want to get Trump out of office. In fact, no, he want to go with. Matter of fact, I think he wants to stick with Trump. I think that's what it's about. Cube, right? Yeah, Cube does. A couple others, black celebrities, want to push the same agenda, and it blows my mind because I say to myself, brothers and sisters, when have these people ever gave a damn about us? They never, and they never will, because it's not in them to love you. Give me Lamentations 4:17. This is what y'all have to keep in mind, y'all.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Go ahead, brother.
As for us, our eyes as yet failed.
Our eyes have yet failed. We always looking to the oppressor. Okay, I'm going to go vote. And then what's going to happen? Is that going to stop black on black crime? Is that going to stop us still being shot down by the cops? No. We keep on. If the man ain't going to teach you right, he ain't going to treat you right. So why the heck would you go with this man?
He never loved you anyway, but you're going to still go by his politics.
This man conquered you
Right.
and put you in captivity.
Right.
And now you want him to treat you as an equal.
Right.
That's not in his spirit.
Right. He'll never treat you as an equal. Never. He always going to have one up on you. Keep that in
He'll
mind.
smile in your face.
Right. Go
He'll
ahead.
do that
Right.
all day.
Right.
All the time.
Right.
They
So it's like,
smiling.
so what does it say again, brother?
As for us,
Uh-huh.
our eyes as yet failed
Go ahead.
for our vain help.
Our vain help, that's because they pretend like they love you. You know what, man? We love you so much. We're going to give you a stimulus check. So you can go stimulate our economy. Anyway, it don't make no difference. You think you getting something, you ain't getting a daggone thing. Okay? All right, keep that in mind. What you about to say?
I was just laughing because the scripture said war is in their heart.
Right.
They're deceitful.
And we're not just making this up.
Right. And they broke every treaty that they made with the natives. Every one of them.
Well, Cube on a contract with them.
Yeah.
Remember, he said we're going to do a contract with them? And Cube got to understand the biggest contract that they broke to us was the 40 acres and a mule. Where's our 40 acres and a mule at? That's a contract that they have been told. They told us that when we came out of slavery, they said, okay, we'll give you 40 acres and a mule. Okay, 40 acres. That's a lot of land. Okay? That's how you know that's a lie. Because if every slave had 40 acres and a mule, we end up probably owning this whole country.
Right.
Okay? 40 acres is a lot of land. Okay, go ahead. Finish up.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
We watched for a nation that could not save us because that nation got you in captivity. So you're trying to vote. You're trying to, you're begging for equality. You want to march. You want to do all these different things, realizing, thinking, okay, if all of us come together, and vote, we could get some things done. Is that right? We've tried all this. Go ahead.
You're still trying to circumvent what God has ordained.
Right.
Because we read in Deuteronomy 28:48 that he sent them against us.
There you go.
So the way to get them off of you is by going directly, doing what the Lord said to do.
Now go back to Colossians 2:8 again, brother. What does it say?
The book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you.
Beware lest any man spoil you, destroy you. Go ahead.
Lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Go ahead.
After the tradition of men.
Tradition of men. We're going to deal with that too. Go ahead.
After the rudiments of the world. And not after Christ.
And not after Christ. Because when these people come with their doctrines and their philosophies, it's not after Christ. It's just not. I mean, you could try to figure out a way to try to circumvent. You can try to figure out a way to try to make it fit. It won't work because it's not after Christ. It's the rudiments of the world. It's man's philosophy. It'll never work. Okay? It never work. Give me the book of Matthew now. Chapter 24 and verse 23. And we're going right to the scholarship after this, brother. The book of St. Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 23. I want you to read all the way to 27.
All right, the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
Then, if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ.
Oh, because you have plenty of these people walking around. It means, when he says Christ, it means I am Christian. Because we're going to find out about how they whitewash all of our history. These so-called Christians that are supposed to be Christians called under other names. We're going to go through that with the scholarship, show you what their other names they were called, because Christ is telling you what's going to happen. He's prophesying this to our people. Go ahead, brother. What does it say again?
Lo, here is Christ. Or there, believe it not.
Because Christ telling you don't believe in it. Because Christ is warning us that a lot of people going to be deceitful and make you believe they're for him, but they're not. They're going to deceive you through what? Through images. They're going to deceive you through their false doctrines. They're going to deceive you through a lot of different things. They're going to spoil you. Spoil. It said, beware lest any man spoil you. Go ahead, brother.
For there shall arise false Christs.
False what?
Christs.
False Christ. It says Christ is plural. So false Christ is dealing with Christian. The term Christian, they call this I am anointed.
Yep.
A lot of people say I am anointed. So that's showing false Christ, because a lot of these people are walking around and call themselves of Christ, but they're not. With their doctrine. Go ahead.
Anointed,
Anointed,
or I'm ordained.
Right. God spoke to me. But yeah, for some, but it's funny. The Most High in Christ spoke to you, but you ain't keeping that commandment though.
Right.
Does that make sense? Here we are seeing that Christ is telling you to keep commandments, but you somehow flip out and say, nah, that's not what that means. Go ahead, brother.
And false prophets. And shall show great signs and wonders.
Yo, they show great signs and wonders. Okay, some of them do the faith healings. They show stuff on TV. TV is one of the biggest witchcrafts ever.
Rebuking COVID.
Rebuking COVID, right? But yeah, it ain't going nowhere.
COVID be gone.
I rebuke you, COVID.
I rebuke you, COVID.
Oh yeah, the one that look like the mask dude. You like the dude off the mask.
Yeah.
Like a straight demon.
Yeah. But it's showing y'all. But we know what's sad about that, y'all? You know what's really bad? You know what's really sad about that, y'all? Is our people believe in that madness. They really believe in that madness. They really do. It's sad because Christianity, that's what Christ telling. He says, what does Christ say again? He says, for there shall
arise false Christ.
We just talking about it. It says Christ is plural, which means they're saying a Christian. Okay, saying they're anointed. A lot of these people say that nonsense, but don't want to keep commandments. Go ahead.
And false prophets. And shall show great signs and wonders.
Go ahead.
And so much.
Go ahead.
That if it were possible. Go ahead. They shall deceive the very elect.
If it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. But we know that never happened. That would never happen with the elect. The elect is already elected. Go ahead.
Behold, I have told you before.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert.
Oh, I just seen a sighting of Mary. I just saw this. Oh my goodness. Oh, we know what? We know when Christ's coming back. Oh, he already came back already.
Or the Lord spoke to me.
Oh, the Lord spoke to me
and said,
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers.
He's in the secret chambers. Go ahead.
Believe it not.
So Christ is telling us to be careful. The same way it said in Colossians, beware lest any man spoil you or trick you into believing that they are prophets, that they are so-called Christian, whatever they may be. He said be careful because a lot of these people are set up by Satan. Okay? But let's go to some scholarship. We're going to show y'all some stuff, some scholarship. This is biblical histories. So I have to show y'all some scholarship on the lies.
Speaking of which, vain philosophy and vain deceit. But I'll go to the last one I sent you.
Yeah, check this out, y'all. We're going to show y'all some pictures. We got some books. Yeah. We got some books, brothers and sisters, that cost a lot of money that they discontinued some of these books. Matter of fact, it's hard to get these books. And we're going to show y'all some stuff because there's a lot of stuff. That's why this is biblical histories. There's a lot of stuff, y'all, that's out there literature-wise that they're hiding from you to keep you in vain deceit. Okay? Keep you in vain deceit. Keep you in philosophies of men. Okay? Now let's go to this. What is this right here? This is
This is from the book Ecclesiastical History.
Ecclesiastical History. This is what this book is. So we're going to read some excerpts on it to show you how these things came about in the historical sense. Make it a little bit smaller, yeah.
You can read it from...
Can you see it?
Thus, Calactus the Third, to immortalize the remembrance of the deliverance of Belgrade, from the powerful arms of Muhammad II, who had been obliged to raise the siege of that city, ordered in 1456. The festival in honor of the Transfiguration of Christ.
What is that? So stop right there, y'all. For some of y'all who don't know, in 1453, Pope Alexander VI Rodrigo commissioned Leonardo da Vinci to paint the picture of Caesar Borgia as the White Christ. This is 1456. This is during the time of the Renaissance period known as the Rebirth. And during this time, if y'all understand, this is when Christianity was really starting to take more of a stronghold, and during this time, during the Spanish Inquisition and the Portuguese Inquisition.
You got all this stuff going on. This is a very tumultuous time in history, and a lot of doctrines is coming into the church. And they're kicking the Jews out. There's a whole lot going on right here.
But go ahead, read on, brother.
Which had been celebrated in some places by private authority before this period, to be religiously observed throughout the Western world in Sixtus the fourth, right?
Yeah, the fourth, yeah.
The fourth in 1476. Granted indulgences by a particular edict.
Wow. Go ahead.
To all those who should devoutly celebrate an annual festival in honor of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin.
The Immaculate Conception, Immaculate Deception. Okay? But what it's showing y'all is who's behind is Catholicism. Because that's a doctrine. Nobody is nowhere in the Bible, Immaculate Conception. We have to do a class on that too. It's nowhere in the world you're going to find that. But go ahead, Jake.
Oh, I was just going to say, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. And even moving forward, you get into the Reformation, where they're going to take the Apocrypha out from the Bible.
Yep.
And all that. That's a whole lot of madness that's coming in. These people have taken Christianity and forming it to what they want it to be. And then now they tell us, oh, that stuff is not God-breathed. Are you kidding me?
That is philosophies and vain deceit.
Right.
Go ahead. Read on, brother. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Read on. Go ahead. Read on.
My bad.
That's all right. You okay?
With respect to none of the Roman pontiffs before Hun. Oh, dang. I need glasses. Before him had brought proper to make any express declaration or any positive appointment. The other additions that were made to the Roman ritual relating to the worship of the Virgin Mary, public and private prayers, the traffic of indulgences, and other things of that nature are of too little importance to deserve an exact and circumstantial enumeration.
Right. So we wanted to show how when they started pushing this thing. Now go to the next one. Bethel, go up. It's going to be two little pieces. We're going to show you another crazy doctrine.
Remember, vain deceit. Beware lest any man spoil you. Okay.
Yeah, it's two of them. Yep. Start with that one right there. That's the second part. Yeah, that one first.
Well, we're showing y'all the origin of where some of this stuff comes from. Okay, we're showing y'all you're dealing with the image. You're dealing with all these different things that they're trying to show you. Go ahead.
I'm laughing because you have people nowadays that say that they're a light beam.
Right. Yeah. So they're a light beam, right? Okay, go ahead, brother.
These quietists, in compliance with an ancient opinion of their principal doctors, who imagined that there was a celestial light concealed in the deepest recesses of the mind, used to sit in a solitary corner during a certain portion of every day, with their eyes eagerly and immovably fixed upon.
You know what's funny about all that? You look at some of our people, even in Africanism, whatever you want to call it.
Go ahead, brother.
They want to be light beams. They worship lights, worship the sun. It falls in the same line as that right there, y'all. Our people are in madness, and that's the reason. It's showing you where this stuff come from. But go ahead, though, brother. Read on.
Remember the light?
Yeah, the light.
The eyes fix it on.
Right.
The middle region of the belly or navel, and boasted that while they remained in this posture, they found in effect a divine light beaming forth from the soul, which diffused through their hearts inexpressible sensations of pleasure and delight. To such as inquired what kind of light this was, they replied, by way of illustration, that it was the glory of God.
See? Go ahead.
The same celestial radiance that surrounded Christ during his transfiguration on the mount.
Oh, my goodness.
So just their navel was transfigured.
Right.
Man, you got to be kidding me.
Right. Once again, vain deceit, philosophies of men, because a lot of this stuff, they've made this stuff into doctrines. And unfortunately, our people, they follow this stuff. But go ahead, give me the next one, brother.
Now, what do you want? You want the?
This is for you people who want to call yourself light beams.
You want to go into images, or you want to deal with the bones?
Let's deal with the bones. Okay. Give me Baruch, chapter 2. Give me Baruch chapter 2, and I think it's verse. I want to show y'all something. Because we've had battles with brothers that's in so-called Pan-Africanism, and they always try to say that they don't believe our existence because of our bones, where the bones are. You know, they always want to try to figure out a way to debunk the Bible. And we keep trying to tell them, brother, you know, we have sepulchres, we have these different things, but what has happened, the so-called white man under a different name was destroying all of our sepulchres.
They actually have the bones
Mm-hmm.
in the place called the Sepulchre of something,
Right.
and they have a building over it in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
You go in it, but then you got to go all the way down under the building, and that's where they got Abraham, Isaac.
They call it something holy sepulchre.
They talk about it in Tudela.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. We're gonna go to that. We're going to that. We're gonna go to Baruch chapter 2, and we're gonna go to verse 22. Then we're gonna go to the bones, because we gotta show y'all. So, cause see, a lot of times what happened, a lot of these people. Then also I want you to give me the go to Sirach too. I'm dealing with the bones as well on Sirach.
Well, you got Jeremiah also.
Yeah, go to Jeremiah. Matter of fact, go to Jeremiah after this.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to the book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 22. I want you to read all the way down to 24. Yeah.
Okay.
24. Yeah.
The book of Baruch, chapter 2 and verse 22.
Jeremiah 1.
But if ye will not hear the voice of the Lord to serve the king of Babylon.
Now, during this time, we had to go into Babylon because why? We're disobedient. So same way today, we're in Babylon the Great. So it's confusion. Why? Because we're disobedient to the Most High. So we had to go into Babylon, right? Go ahead.
I will cause to cease from the cities of Judah, and from without Jerusalem, the voice of mirth.
So the Lord's saying He gonna cause us to not have the mirth, to not have the happiness, because why? Because we didn't want to hearken to the Most High. Okay, that's why He says He's gonna cause all that stuff to stop. Go ahead.
And the voice of joy, the voice of the bridegroom.
Go ahead.
And the voice of the bride.
Go ahead.
And the whole land shall be desolate of inhabitants.
Because being disobedient, the Lord said, I'm going to allow this to happen to the land. Okay, why? And the people, because we're disobedient. Same way today. We're still disobedient today. Go ahead.
But we would not hearken unto thy voice.
Same way today. You go through all this, and you still don't want to listen to the Most High God. Go ahead.
To serve the king of Babylon.
Go ahead.
Therefore, hast thou made good the words that thou speakest by thy servants, the prophets.
Like the prophet, we're going to deal with the prophet. Okay, by the servants, the prophets. Go ahead.
Namely, that the bones of our...
The what?
the bones of our kings.
Go ahead.
And the bones of our fathers should be taken out of their places.
That's all we wanted. Should be taken out of their places. Because we're going to deal with some scholarship. We're going to go to a prophet. He taught the prophets, right? Because Jeremiah was in what captivity? You're talking about Babylon right here, right? And who was Baruch?
Jeremiah scribe.
So we're going to find out through Jeremiah what he's talking about dealing with the bones. Go ahead.
You mind if I start last verse?
You can start. Yeah.
All right. Jeremiah 7:34 says, "Then will I cause to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth."
Mm-hmm. Didn't he just say that?
Right.
He's actually saying the same thing. Jeremiah said the same thing that his scribe Baruch just said. Mm-hmm. That's how you know precept must be upon precept.
"And the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolate." Chapter 8 and verse 1. "At that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and in all the host of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth."
Now, keep in mind, brothers and sisters, these are prophecies as well. And what we want to do, we're going to go to some different we're going to go to some scholarship on dealing with the bones and the sepulchres of our forefathers. We're going to show y'all something. We're going to show y'all. This is the thing, y'all. It's important. It's very imperative that you look at history, biblical history, because what it's showing y'all is this is nothing but what we call crafty counsel. Because if I know that we have a holy people, and I'm against that, I'm going to try to do everything I can to. I'm trying to do everything I can to erase your history, even through your bones, your sepulchres, your landmarks, all these things. I'm going to try to do the best thing I can to stop that. Okay? So here we go.
So this is, we've used it plenty of times before, the itinerary of Rabbi Benjamin of Tudela. He was a Sephardic Jew, meaning he was a Jew from Spain and Portugal, who are black, who are always dark. And we're going to show you that shortly.
We're going to show you some pictures. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Bob. Go to next page. Yeah. All right. It says, this is page 41. It says, "In front of Mount Zion, on which there is no building except a place of worship belonging to the Christians." So keep in mind, this is during the 12th century right here. And you had the Crusaders had taken Jerusalem at this time. Mm-hmm. Facing Jerusalem for a distance of 3 miles are the cemeteries belonging to the Israelites, who in the days of old buried their dead in caves, and upon each sepulchre is a dated inscription. But the Christians destroy the sepulchres.
Oh, the who destroyed it?
The Christians.
Didn't Christ say beware of false Christ?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Christ says that he's telling you, because these people that's call themselves as Christians, they're the ones that are destroying the holy sepulchres. Go ahead.
These same people, before they were called Christians, they burnt Jerusalem to the ground twice.
Exactly. But they're the ones that want to take the name Christian and run around and say, "Oh, we're for Christ," but for some reason you hate his people,
right? And especially his law.
His law, and we're gonna deal with that too. Go ahead.
But the Christians destroy the sepulchres, employing the stones thereof in building their houses.
So they're building their structures in the midst of destroying ours.
So when you look into the history of it, what they did in order to get the Edomites to go and fight for the land, they were promised a portion if they won. So they were given land in Jerusalem, and now they're building their houses. Later they become known as the Knights Templars.
The Knights Templars. Give me more.
Go to.
See,
Well, since we own that, if you want, go to the one about the Franks. It's 4 of them together.
yeah. See, what y'all don't know is the so-called white man goes by different names. One of the names he went by is called the Franks. And the thing about it, y'all, is you look at different, when you go back in your history, you will start to see that they have many names that they fall under to hide behind different things. Okay? Okay? So we're going to go to more of the scholarship on that. Now, in the meantime, I want you to go to, I wasn't going to Maccabees, but one thing I'm going to do is, since you have it? You got that? Yeah, you got it?
Yes, 4 of them together.
Go to the book of Ecclesiasticus. Okay, since you have it, you got under the pictures? Ecclesiasticus chapter 46. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, I was gonna go there. Okay, now we don't have to do it now. So go ahead, show that other one right there. Yeah, go to that. Yeah, start there. Yeah.
So this is out of the same book, y'all. The Itinerary of Benjamin of Tudela.
Yeah, sorry about the delay, but yeah, it's the same book, but we have to get to the meat of it. Go ahead.
I got it. In 1187.
Let's start up.
Start up.
Oh, where at?
The Shah of Persia.
It took Saladin.
Oh, my bad. It took Saladin some years to consolidate his empire.
So Saladin is like the most famous general of the Arabs ever. He was the one fighting against the so-called Franks on every front, in Egypt all the way to Arabia. Well, go ahead.
In 1187, he felt himself in a position to engage the Franks.
The Franks, which France today and Germany was the kingdom of the Franks. Go ahead.
In a decisive conflict at the Battle of Tiberias, Guy, the Latin king, was defeated and taken prisoner.
So the Latins, too, are Franks. Who are the Latins? Right, the Romans. Go ahead.
The Knights, Templars, and Hospitallers, of whose doings at Jerusalem Benjamin gives us particulars, either shared the fate of the king or were slain in action.
So all of these people are Franks. Franks is just like the general term for all of them. All right, go to the next one, Bethel. So this is from a Arab book called The Contemplation. Read that
From the top.
just the highlighted part.
But
you
the
can start from the top.
Go ahead.
that was a source of plunder that God the glorious, the Almighty, bestowed upon our people. A number of serving girls were taken from the ranks of these prisoners and passed on to the house of my father. May God have mercy upon him. But the Franks, God cursed them.
Stop. The Arabs do not like the so-called white man. Watch what he say about him.
The Franks cursed them, are an accursed race that will not be accustomed to anyone not of their own race.
And that's true when you look at their behavior, how they treat everybody else across the board. And they're real deceitful with it. But they still treat everybody else like trash. That's why you have a president calling other countries S-hole countries.
Right.
Go to the next one.
We just showing y'all some different excerpts. Okay, the status of the what?
The status of the night among the Franks.
Talking about the Knights Templars.
The Franks, may God confound them, have none of the human virtues except for courage. Dang.
That describes who this man is. Right?
That's exactly what came to my brain.
What's the gift that the Lord gave
The
him?
sword.
Right. War.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Go ahead.
I say all they got is courage. They have neither presidents nor high rank except that of the knights, and have no men worthy of the name except the knights.
Well, right. So these Knights Templars later they get accused of doing some heinous things, like one being sodomy, which is something that the Franks have always done throughout history. And you go back to Alexander. We'll go ahead and finish that out.
Yeah, because Alexander was a homosexual, and they know that's on record. You know, even when you watch that movie.
Right, when you watch that movie, he goes into the king's harem. He's got his choice of women. He goes straight to the eunuch. To the eunuch. Homosexuality. It says, it is they who are the masters of legal reasoning, judgment, and sentencing. Yeah. Go to the next
From the highlighted part,
one. Right. Let's see who the Franks actually are.
they are faithful to each other, but a source of terror to their neighbors, killing even kings at the cost of their own lives. The extent of their land is 8 days' journey, and are at war with the sons of Edom.
The sons of who?
Edom.
Who's Edom, y'all?
Yep.
The Edomites, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
Who are called the Franks.
Who are called the Franks. If you look up the Frankish kingdom, yeah, pull it up. Pull up the Frankish kingdom.
Right. It's the same mentality today, and it's overpower.
So, Frankish kingdom. Yeah, Google the Frankish kingdom. That's what I was saying. Over time, they come across Europe, and they're taking over. You can see it. You can tell, like, during the 1400s, they're taking Christianity completely. Kingdom of the Franks. Go to maps. Okay.
Now we're showing. Well, one thing about it, y'all. No, you put up the one. Okay. Well, anyway, basically, it's showing. When you look at the Frankish kingdom, it's showing you basically who this man really is under a different name. The same way today, they call themselves Russian. Once again, German, French, Polish, Yugoslavian. All these different names, it's the same thing. So you're still dealing with the same man. So one thing we have to do is show you through history. Do you still have it?
Look it up, though.
I thought you had that one. Yeah.
Kingdom of the Franks. Try that. They should give you maps. Not like Google Maps, but like a map. Like if you're looking up, yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go.
Go to that first one with the green. Yeah. See, over time, like their king, they had a king named Clovis, and he had 2 sons, and then the kingdom was split, and one half became Germany, the other half became France.
Okay.
It's divided by the Rhine River. Yeah, so all that green territory should be, that's how their kingdom started. And over time, it went all the Edomites went all across Europe.
Okay.
All right.
Is that it? All right, that's it.
Yeah, you can go back now though.
Okay. Now anyway, we're gonna go into give me the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48. And we're gonna go to some images. We're gonna show y'all something out of some specific books on how they change our images even in the Holy Bible. That's why you have a white Jesus today. That's why you have white disciples. That's why you have white angels. You have all these different images that was changed, and we're going to show you the whitewashing. This is why these books are not available today, because we're going to show you the catacombs. Okay, that's where we're going to show you where they're actually located, and we're going to show you another book that in the back of the day, brothers tried their best to get their hands on this book. But we're very fortunate.
None of them are. They're not. It's not available right now.
Right, and we're gonna show you why. So give me the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48, brother.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Go ahead.
And laid open the book of the law.
Go ahead.
Wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
They paint the likeness of their images in our records. That's why we keep telling y'all, when you look at the white image of Christ, what you're supposed to do is prove what is acceptable. So if I go to the Bible and I see that the Bible describes Christ as what we would know today as a so-called black man, and I go to this image of Caesar Borgia, the so-called white man, you have to ask yourself a question: where did that come from? But we're gonna show y'all some images, show y'all what they've done, especially with our records, and they still have our records today over in Rome. Go ahead.
What year was that they painted?
1453. In 1453, for some of y'all who don't know, which is the Renaissance period, Pope Alexander VI Rodrigo commissioned Leonardo da Vinci to paint the picture of Caesar Borgia, which we know as the so-called white man, the so-called white Jesus today, okay, which we know as the beast. Okay, straight up to paint the likeness of the image of the beast. So what he did was, what that promoted, it promoted white supremacy. Same way today. So we're gonna show y'all some books, some history, some artifacts to show y'all the true images that they know. Matter of fact, the Pope knows. He bowed down to an image. He bows down to a shrine that people don't know about, because they know the real deal. You just don't know. So beware lest any man spoil you through philosophies and vain deceit. Right? Go ahead. I'm going to show y'all something. We see, this is something, okay.
So the main book we're gonna read out of, it's not showing.
It's not showing. It's not showing. But
is an ecclesiastical history, which this book documents Christianity from the 1st century all the way to the 19th century. So from, like the time of Christ all the way to the late 1800s. So go ahead.
Can you see it?
You gotta bring that a little bit more.
Bring a little bit more. Yeah, because you got it.
There we go, man. Doubly irritated by this disappointment, he vented his fury against images and their worshippers in 730 in a much more terrible manner than he had hitherto done. For in a council assembled at Constantinople.
Mm-hmm.
He degraded from his office. Was that Jananus, the bishop of that imperial city, who was a patron of images, put Anastasius in his place. Ordered all the images to be publicly burned and inflicted a variety of severe punishments upon such as were attached to that idolatrous worship.
So we had images.
Mm-hmm.
We had images.
Yep.
Go ahead.
These rigorous measures divided the Christian church into two violent factions whose contests were carried on with an ungoverned rage and produced nothing but mutual invectives, croons, and assassinations.
Damn.
Of these factions. One adopted the adoration and worship of images.
Let me say this real quick. It's okay to have images, but you ain't supposed to worship them.
Right. That's the
Right.
difference.
And were on that account called what's that say?
Iconodish. I think.
Iconoda.
Uh-huh.
Or
Iconolatre.
iconolatre.
Uh-huh.
While the other maintained that such worship was unlawful and that nothing was more worthy of the zeal of Christians than to demolish and destroy of statues and pictures and were the occasions and objects of this gross idolatry.
Uh-huh.
And hence they were distinguished by the titles of iconotre and
iconoclast. Which you know it today as iconoclasm, destroying the images. But they didn't destroy all the images.
Right.
Keep going. Go to the next.
The Roman pontiffs, Gregory II and III, were the authors and ringleaders.
No, just keep going.
No, keep going.
We don't have to read all of this.
Right.
We want to have the general idea.
Right. Who was behind all this? Go ahead.
The former, on the emperor's refusing to revoke his edict against images, declared him without hesitation unworthy of the name and privileges of a Christian,
Go ahead.
and thus excluded him from the communion of the church.
So because he wanted to get rid of the images, they were saying he wasn't worthy to be a Christian. That's crazy.
Go ahead.
And no sooner, you got to move the mouse. No sooner was this formidable sentence made public than the Romans and other Italian communities that were subject to the Grecian Empire violated them.
Their
Wow.
Their allegiance.
I say their allegiance and rising in arms, either massacred or banished all the emperor's deputies.
So they
and
basically
officers.
went to war. They were fighting each other over the images, man. This is crazy.
Leo, exasperated by these insolent proceedings, resolved to chastise the Italian rebels and to make the haughty pontiff feel in a particular manner the effects of his resentment. But he failed in the attempt.
Is that it? Well, keep in mind, was also showing y'all, as we already had images, right? And what they have done time and time again, we're going to show you, okay? Matter of fact, go to the,
Yeah, keep going.
I want you to go, are you done with that one? Because we need to go to the images.
No, we got to read this first.
Okay.
Go to not that one. Go to the next one.
Uh-huh.
There's two of them that's gonna be in green. One is small. It should be the next to the last one.
Okay. Wait,
Yeah.
that's it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, make that a little smaller. And then after this, the last one in that series, that giant.
Yeah, so basically we have to show that this stuff has always been a plan to basically to destroy our heritage and destroy our images. So basically you got to go back and show, okay, is that it? That's it? Okay.
So we don't have to read this whole thing. I'm just gonna start where it says the principle.
Okay, go ahead.
The principal injunctions they imposed upon these rude proselytes,
Nothing but converts. Go ahead.
were that they should get by heart certain summaries of doctrine and pay to the images of Christ and the saints, the same religious services which they had formerly offered to the statues of the gods. So we just wanted to show that we had images. Now go to the next one. Okay. Can you make that a little bigger so I can see it? We're going to show you a description of what the real Jews look like
Yep.
and what the fake ones look like. I can read it. It's good enough. It says, thus, oh, wait a minute. This book is from the treatise. Anyway, it says, thus, the Jews are a people who have ever, according to the prophecy, dwelt alone, without intermixing with the nations to this day. Now, this separate race, all descended from brown ancestors, from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They must have been as dark as Mar Yohanan, if not darker. Exhibit every shade of color, from the black Jews of Malabar, of whom we have such an interesting account by Dr. Claudius Buchanan, to the rose and lily complexion of the Jewesses of the banks of Elbe. We need go no further than the Jews of southern Spain and compare them with those of Holland and northern Germany, the land of the Franks, right?
And the Franks, exactly.
The Edomites.
To perceive
A very striking difference. The Spanish Jew, like Benjamin of Tudela, is always dark complexion, and his hair is uniformly black, whilst the German Jew is often as fair as any German and has light or red hair with blue eyes. The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. So the real Jews are black.
right, and we're gonna show y'all some books.
Yeah, some images that they didn't destroy.
Okay, well that's enough. Let's show us. Let's go to the images. Show y'all something. Now, this is Russian icons.
Matter of fact, Willie, can you bring that up here?
Yeah, this is Russian icons. This book right here, brothers and sisters, it's gonna show y'all the images that they didn't destroy, and it's gonna actually show y'all they're in the midst of. Okay, Hushai. Okay,
Man.
now this right here, this book is called Russian Icons. Okay, and in this book is going to show the true images of our people, even Christ, and it's going to also show that these people, these demons, they know what they were doing. It's going to actually show them in the midst of whitewashing. Okay, so let's go to some of these images that they have. And then we'll go to the catacombs as well. Show y'all something. You did one of the catacombs? Okay. Look at that. Those are the true images of our people that they took out. And that they whitewash, as a matter of fact, but they didn't whitewash these.
Yeah, all these images are coming from Russia that we're going to show you. From Russia. But somehow we're crazy.
Right.
We're teaching false doctrines.
Right.
We're trying to take somebody's nationality. How is that? Everything fits us. All the prophecies fit us.
Okay, what's the other ones? What's the other pictures? Okay.
Who's that in the middle?
See that? Who would that be? Who would that be?
You know, it's getting to be a habit of saying this every week, but we didn't write this stuff.
Right. Look. Yeah, it's in there. We got that picture with them actually painting over it. See, look at that. Those are angels. But look at how they look. What are their colors? What they look like? We didn't paint this.
They ain't red.
They're definitely not red. They definitely don't have stringy hair. That's for sure. So somebody lying. Okay, go ahead. Give me another picture.
And you can see that if they really wanted to be white, they would have included it because above them is a white bar.
Right.
Or white
Right.
paint.
Right. And look, and that's pink. Right there. What he wearing? So when they color that the face, if that's
They had different colors to use.
right, they were using different colors. Okay, look at that. Who would that be? Little baby Christ, a little afro, right? Looks like a fro to me. These are images that they didn't destroy these images. Okay, look at that. Who would that be? That would be Paul, right?
I think it's John.
Is that John?
But I think Peter and Paul are together.
Okay. But look at what color they are. Look at that.
As if he burned in a furnace.
As he burned in the furnace, exactly. It's the same way Revelation.
Toss them right in their feet first.
Yep. Look at that right there. Look at those images.
I thought I had Peter and Paul.
Did you show you didn't have the one where he's painting over it?
You see them to them real quick.
You got the one where he's painting over it? Because we got to show that one.
No, I didn't take it.
It's at the back, right?
It's towards the back, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna show y'all, and that right there shows what?
What we just read.
That's the catacombs. Okay, that's showing. See, a lot of this stuff is in Rome, and they have these things. A lot of this stuff, these artifacts. The Pope. See, this is the thing y'all have to understand. The Pope and all these other people, these so-called dignitaries, they have this stuff on record. But what happens a lot of times is so-called religious leaders, they don't want to uncover this stuff. Because if you uncover this, it uncovers what? The lies. You see? And we're showing y'all first-hand accounts of what our people will look like based on images. Now we're going to show you the pictures of, it's going to show you there in the midst of whitewashing.
Right. Why is it out in these paintings? They're dark with woolly hair.
Right.
Just like the description in the scriptures. We're not lying.
But they would tell you that you're lying. They would say that, oh, wait a minute.
You know, people will say on the street, color doesn't matter.
There you go. Now look at that. Now what is he doing? He's whitewashing. Like
if color did not matter, why is he doing that?
Right. Why is he whitewashing? Why is he whitewashing the image? You see, look at that. Look at who's doing all this.
If it's not important, why are they painstakingly going through and covering this stuff up? If it's not important.
What did it say again in First Maccabees 3 and 48 again, brother? What does it say
The
again?
book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 48.
Go ahead.
And laid open the book of the law,
Uh-huh.
wherein the heathen had sought to make the likeness of their images.
It's the same thing. They were doing it back then, and they were doing it during that time period. Okay.
Even to this day, because these pictures of them whitewashing is from 1990.
30 years ago. Ain't that something? This is why we keep telling you, brothers and sisters in Christianity, we always be trying to show y'all something. Go to matter of fact, keep on reading on First Maccabees. Keep reading down. I'm gonna show y'all something.
49.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 49. They brought also the priest's garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days.
Go ahead.
Then cried they with a loud voice toward heaven, saying, What shall we do with these? And whither shall we carry them away? For thy sanctuary is trodden down and profane.
It's the same way back then. The same way, Lord's will, we're going to be able to celebrate the feast of the dedication to show what happened with the Greeks. The Greeks were the so-called white men. They were doing the same thing back then. Go ahead.
And thy priests are in heaviness and brought low.
Go ahead.
And lo, the heathen are assembled together against us to destroy us.
What's the best way to destroy people? By destroying their images and destroying destroying their very existence. By destroying the sepulchres. By destroying the images. That's the best way to destroy us because you don't have our existence. Okay? Go ahead.
What things they imagine against us, thou knowest.
Go ahead, Jake.
What else did these same people do to us? Read verse 41.
Mm-hmm.
And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much, with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves.
For what?
For slaves.
Go ahead.
A power also of Syria, and of the land of the Philistines, joined themselves unto them.
And that's what our people were doing. See, this is y'all understand. We look, listen, y'all. Huh?
41.
That was 41.
It's the same old thing back then, and the same thing they did to us in recent years. They took our identity, they covered our faces, sold us into captivity.
That's right.
Same old thing. We did a class a few weeks ago, the spirit of Satan.
Right.
The same thing back then, the same now.
You know, y'all, and that's the sad part about it. When you said destroy, let's in it. See, we have to beware lest any man spoil you. And another thing they're going to do, we're almost about to finish up. I want to hit this because I was itching about it today. Go to the book of Sirach, chapter 45. I want to hit this because they hate Moses so much. Do they understand? Moses made a statement. Matter of fact, go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 45, start at verse 1. And we're going to be finishing up pretty soon. This is another reason why we wear the holy garments, y'all. Too, because y'all always wanted to say, well, why y'all always wearing garments? Why y'all always doing this? Because it symbolizes something, right? Go to the book of
They say Power Rangers.
right. Talk bad about us, right? Oh, y'all Power Rangers and everything like that.
It's morphin' time, all right. We'll read verse 1.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
The book of Sirach, chapter 45 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
And he brought out of him a merciful man,
Go ahead.
which found favor in the sight of all flesh, even Moses, beloved of God and men, whose memorial is blessed.
So he's the first king of Israel, for some of y'all who don't know. He's the first king. Go ahead, brother.
It says beloved of God.
Right.
Beloved of God.
Who else was beloved of God? Right, y'all hate Moses, right?
Hate Moses.
Right, but he's beloved of God. Go ahead, keep reading.
He made him like to the glorious saints.
The glorious who?
The glorious saints.
Which means he's an Israelite from the tribe of what? Levi. Go ahead.
And magnified him so that his enemies stood in fear of him.
So wait a minute. His enemies stood in fear of Moses. Some of y'all keep on messing with Moses if you want to. Keep reading.
By his words he caused the wonders to cease, and he made him glorious in the sight of kings.
The sight of who?
In the sight of kings.
He was glorious in the sight of kings, even Pharaoh. Pharaoh couldn't deal with him, right?
Can you imagine that? Going up to a king and telling him, my God said, let my people go.
There you go.
Because the king can just command that you be
put to death. Go ahead.
Oh.
And gave him a commandment for his people, and showed him part of his glory.
Go ahead.
He sanctified.
He did what?
He sanctified him in his faithfulness and meekness, and chose him out of all men.
Chose him. Keep messing with Moses. Go ahead, read.
He made him to hear his voice, and brought him into the dark cloud, and gave him commandments before his face.
Gave him what?
Commandments before his face.
Go ahead.
Even the law of life.
The law of what?
The law of life.
Go ahead.
In knowledge, that he might teach Jacob.
Why you think his face shone so bright he had to put a veil over his face? Why you think his face shone he had to put the veil over his face? Why? Because the Most High through Christ gave him that knowledge. What does it say again, brother?
That he might teach Jacob his servants, and Israel
teach Jacob
his
what?
Covenants.
His covenants.
I don't know why I see.
So it's covenants, because we talked about the covenants before, right? Go ahead.
That he might teach Jacob his covenants, and Israel his judgments.
Go ahead.
He exalted Aaron, an holy man like unto him.
Go ahead.
Even his brother of the tribe of Levi.
Go ahead. An
everlasting covenant he made with him, and gave him the priesthood among the people. He beautified him with comely ornaments.
It's nothing wrong with being royal, people. Right. With comely ornaments. That's why it's nothing wrong with wearing your ornaments, wearing your. It's nothing wrong because we are priestly. We are a royal people. Go ahead.
And clothed him with a robe of glory.
We want that robe of glory, don't we? Go ahead.
He put upon him perfect glory.
What glory?
Perfect glory.
Go ahead.
And strengthened him with rich garments.
Oh, you think we want to be a bum? He said, with what garments?
Strengthen him with rich garments.
Why y'all think we always have the beautiful garments? We want to do what's beautiful to the Lord. Because the Lord wants us to be royal, because we are royal priesthood. Go ahead.
With rich garments, with breeches.
With what?
With breeches.
That's right. The men wore the breeches.
With a long robe. And the ephod.
So you will keep on calling us Power Rangers all you want. The Most High is the one that set this up. Go ahead.
And he compassed him with pomegranates. And with many golden bells round about.
Like the fringes. We have the nice fringes that look like pomegranates. Some of them are pomegranates. When we have the glorious garments, we have the best looking fringes. Look real nice and thick. Look real nice. Go ahead.
And with many golden bells round about. That as he went there might be a sound and a noise made that might be heard in the temple.
Go ahead.
For a memorial to the children of his people.
Go ahead.
With an holy garment, with gold and blue silk and purple, the work of the embroiderer, with a breastplate.
What?
A breastplate.
Go ahead.
Of judgment. And with Urim.
And the Urim and the Thummim.
In the Thummim.
Go ahead.
With twisted scarlet, the work of the cunning workman, with precious stones graven like seals, and set in gold, the work of the jeweler, with a writing engraved for a memorial.
For the what?
For a memorial.
Go after the what?
After the number of the tribes of Israel.
You mess around with that breastplate if you want to. Don't even think about touching it. Go ahead.
He set a crown of gold upon the mitre.
The mitre.
Wherein was engraved holiness, an ornament of honor, a costly work,
Uh-huh.
the desires of the eyes.
Because you have to understand something. We have to remove the diadem, because now the high priest that we have now is Christ. Okay, that's why. But during that time, that's when we was permitted during that time. But go ahead, brother.
The desires of the eyes,
Go ahead.
godly, goodly, and beautiful.
Mm.
Before him there were none such,
Mm-hmm.
neither did ever any stranger put them on.
Any what put him on? That what put him on? Say it again.
Neither did ever any stranger put them on.
Go ahead, but who?
But only his children and his children's children perpetually.
Which means continually. Continually. Go ahead.
Their sacrifices shall be wholly consumed every day, twice continually.
So why is it now? What type of sacrifices we have now, brothers and sisters? Spiritual sacrifice, because the priesthood is with who? The whole nation is the nation of priests. So a lot of times what happens with these people, keep thinking it's okay, but go ahead, they'll keep going. But Moses did what though?
That means no strangers.
No strangers. Nobody even supposed to be dealing with our holy garments at all. Nobody but Israel. You only supposed to touch it. Okay? Especially the breastplate of Aaron. You touch that if you want to and see what happens. Oh yeah, touch that if you want to. Touch it. Put your hands on it if you want to. Matter of fact, put it on and see what happens. Just touch it. Just put your hands on it and see what happens. Go ahead, keep reading. 15.
Moses consecrated him
Uh-huh.
and anointed him with holy oil.
Go ahead.
This was appointed unto him by an everlasting covenant,
Go ahead.
and to his seed, so long as the heavens should remain,
Go ahead.
that they should minister unto him
Uh-huh.
and execute the office
Execute the what?
and execute the office of the priesthood,
And do what?
and bless the people in his name.
I want you to read all the way to verse 17.
He chose him out of all men living to offer sacrifices to the Lord, incense and a sweet savor, for a memorial to make reconciliation for his people.
We have Christ.
Whose people?
For his
Reconciliation for whose people?
His people.
Uh-huh. Who do we have now to make reconciliation?
One of our brothers.
One of our brethren. Go ahead. 17 is what I want.
He gave unto him his commandments.
He gave it to what?
His commandments.
Go ahead.
And authority and the statutes of judgments, that he should teach Jacob.
Teach who?
Teach Jacob.
Go ahead.
The testimonies, and inform Israel in his laws.
And inform Israel and his laws. Because what happens, y'all, the so-called black, so-called Hispanics, we supposed to have the laws in Christ to do what? To help us to be able to, we have 4 parts of the law. To show us how we're supposed to conduct ourselves, how we're supposed to have the ceremonial laws, the moral laws, to show us how we're supposed to carry ourselves as the children of Israel. That's one thing that we have to beware. Keep in mind, beware lest any man spoil you, y'all, because what happens, destroy you by telling you don't keep the commandments. They destroy you by not realizing it's a condition of the battle to deal with spiritual warfare. And that's what we're dealing with, brothers and sisters. Keep that in mind. Okay? So 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. What? What's up?
Now if I make a statement.
Make a statement.
Because we just read out of the book of Ecclesiasticus, which is in the Apocrypha.
Right.
And you'll have a lot of Christians come and say, it's not God-breathed. The way you know something is God-breathed is if it's talking about his law. That's how you know. His law.
Mm-hmm.
That's my statement.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21, the book of Acts 5:29.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21.
Go ahead.
For even hereunto were ye called,
Go ahead.
because Christ also suffered for us,
That's right.
leaving us an example,
Right.
that ye should follow his steps,
Mm-hmm.
who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth,
Mm-hmm.
who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
Judges righteously, because the Most High is the righteous judge. He's the one that judges righteously. Christ didn't have no guile in his mouth. We follow Christ. Christ is our holy example. That's who we follow. Okay? So the book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 29, and finish up.
The book of Acts, chapter 5, and verse 29.
Go ahead.
Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
And that's who we must obey, brothers and sisters. We must obey Christ and to keep the commandments rather than the silly ideologies and the silly philosophies, the rudiments of the world. Those things we should not follow, y'all, because if it doesn't match up with the scriptures, precept upon precept, guess what? You're in lies. Okay, uncovering the lies. So we just showed y'all some things on, about the images, on how they've been lying to us, how they constantly want to keep destroying us through philosophies of men. And we have to be careful. You have to try every spirit. Every time you see something, try it. See, wait a minute, does this line up with the scriptures? That's how you know something's the truth. Okay, go ahead, brother.
If somebody say that their navel is transfigured,
you better
they
run.
in the wrong spirit.
You better run.
Look at my belly, brother. Look.
Yeah. But anyway, y'all, we want to give the Most High Christ all the praise and glory for allowing us to even teach this word. Just a brief, it was just something brief. Wasn't nothing too deep. Just to go over some different things, y'all. Was everyone clear on today's topic? Anyone have any questions? Everybody good? Okay, all right, everybody. Well, anyway, once again, Most High Christ bless. We pray that everybody stay strong. Prayers are up for everybody who's dealing with any issues, whatever the case may be. Like I said, once again, Most High Christ bless everybody. Stay strong, stay prayed up. You know what I'm saying? We all in this together. Israel, we all we got. Okay, so like I said before, Most High Christ bless. Give the Most High Christ all the praise and glory. And with that, we want to say shalom.
What does it say?